Welcome back to Dirty 20. Today, we're looking at how to get into D&D step by step. So, when I worked at a board game cafe, we would get a lot of people coming in and they'd be interested in D&D, but they would say, I know nothing about it. I have no idea how to get into this thing. And so eventually I kind of developed a spiel that I would give to try to help people and introduce them in the kind of, I would say, the easiest fashion. This isn't the right way. There's no right way. But nowadays, with all the media and the availability of streaming and things of that nature, there really are a lot of fantastic ways that you can get a feel for the game and eventually get to a table and start playing. The first thing that I would say is watching some D&D. Now, that sounds really weird and a little bit counterintuitive because watching a bunch of people sitting around a table does not sound like hardcore entertainment. However, with the proliferation of things like Twitch and also on YouTube, you have a lot of great online games. The most famous of which is Critical Role. That one is a bunch of voice actors who get together weekly and they go through their adventures in their kind of homebrew world. I would say that it's probably among the most entertaining of shows that are out there to watch some live play D&D. But there's a little bit of a danger because it can make you feel like that's how you should play D&D. And that's not necessarily true. These guys are professional actors. You actually would probably recognize a bunch of their voices if you're into your video games. And so it's not necessary to make sure that you're playing like that. But it's a great and entertaining way to kind of get into them. I'm a big fan of a bunch of guys. They're called Acquisitions Inc. They do live shows on stage at PAX, which is Penny Arcade. A lot of online comic books, and anyone who kind of follows that world would probably recognize them. But they're also quite close to Wizards of the Coast, who put out Dungeons and Dragons, and so you get to see some of the designers of the game playing the game. And what's wonderful about that is that you can see that they tweak things on the fly and they don't always follow the rules exactly the way that they're written. So it's a great show to watch. Also, you have podcasts, because not everyone has time to sit in front of a computer screen for 4 hours. But if you have a long commute, there's a very popular one called The Adventure Zone, which is a bunch of brothers who got together to play along with their father, who had never played D&D before in his life, and called his character Taco, because why not? And it's very fun, very entertaining, and something that you can just listen to as you go. Again, here we're looking at just getting a little taste. What does it mean to play D&D? So you get to see it, you get to listen to it. Going to your local friendly gaming store is also a fantastic way to meet people who are into the hobby and potentially get in on a game. You're also supporting your local shops, which is a great thing. And it is probably the easiest way to get a face-to-face game. That is personally how I prefer to play. But nowadays, a lot of people play online. There's platforms such as Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, which have a wonderful kind of user interface where you can see maps and you can reveal certain information. And honestly, there's pick-up D&D games on there. So there's definitely no shortage of games if you want to just dive in. I think it's also really important to play with different people if you get the chance, because there's no one way to play a D&D. And some people have bad experiences and it turns them off and they decide that, oh no, this isn't for me. When it might just be that you're not really playing with the right people. finding a group that you connect with and that you're going to play with for years to come is really satisfying, but it's a tough thing. So don't be discouraged if you do sit down at a local game and you feel uncomfortable and it's just not for you. Same for if you decide to jump on Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. Give it a go, try a few different things, and eventually you will probably find a group of people who you really enjoy playing with and who you're going to be playing with for years to come. And, for some people, it can be a tough situation. You're sitting down with strangers, whether maybe you're on the spectrum or you just have social anxiety. It can be very, very daunting. But don't forget, you have that amazing thing, which is you can play the character. You can be someone else. You can really kind of dive in and enjoy not being in your own head and not having to deal with your, daily problems and things like that. I think that is one aspect that, close friends of mine have told me how helpful it's been to them to be able to experience that, to sit down, have a character to play, and, in a situation where they would usually find it really, really difficult, they're able to sit down, have a great time for 4 hours, and time just flies. I myself have had times when I was feeling down, feeling depressed, and playing D&D has really helped me. It's made me feel like, life isn't quite that bad, and I can enjoy other people's company. I don't have to lock myself away in my room, which I do quite often. But genuinely, it's something that can give you the opportunity to step outside of yourself, have fun, enjoy the company of people, and not worry so much. Another thing that you should definitely be doing if you want to be playing D&D is watching Dirty 20. Of course, there are other YouTube channels as well. Lots of really, really amazing ones. We'll put a few links in the descriptions to some of my favorites. But, there's all kinds of stuff out there. There's stuff on lore and history and map making and whatever kind of thing it is that attracts you to D&D. I guarantee you there's someone on YouTube making videos about it, and it's fun. You can become a better player, become a better DM, All of these things are out there and available. YouTube is a fantastic platform to get a lot of this information, and, we're happy to be joining the family. But of course, watching all of this D&D, reading about it, listening to podcasts can lead to you just never getting to the table and playing. So it's important to make the decision and say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the plunge and I'm going to try it out. You could try a one-shot. We did a video on one-shots. Check it out if you want. You could try joining a campaign, finding some like-minded people, whether it be online or face-to-face. And really, one of the things that I often tell people who tell me, but I just can't find anyone who, wants to play with me, or anyone who wants to run a game. My answer to them is, you should run a game. It might seem counterintuitive to, jump straight into the deep end, but that's how some of the best campaigns end up happening. If you're the kind of person who is really creative and loves writing or just creating worlds and things like that, running your own game, creating your own game is a fantastic experience and really, really satisfying. We've talked a little bit about the Essentials kit on this channel. We did an unboxing of it, and it's a wonderful starting point. I would recommend to anyone who can gather a couple of mates around a table and you get them to sit down for a few hours and just have a laugh, that would be a great starting point. And if all else fails, La Victoria Productions, in associations with Dirty 20, is going to be putting on some events this year. So if you really just can't find anyone to play with, or are really struggling with finding a table, then come and join us. We'll play a one-shot and hopefully get you as addicted to D&D as we are. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on this little journey on how to get into D&D step by step. And don't forget to reach out to us, like this video, comment down below, tell us how you got into D&D if you're mad into it. Tell us if you're struggling to find a game, and we'll try and help you out. But reach out to us. We are on Facebook, La Victoria Productions. We're also on LinkedIn. You can check us out on Twitter. Mouth at La Victoria Productions is our producer, and he'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I'm Enano LVP on Instagram, and you can check out our website on lavictoriaproductions.com. Thank you so much, and keep slaying.